to XTV's news broadcast for Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, PM announces March 12th as election date. Injunction sought against holding of the general elections, and shooting in Hope Creek, Stan Creek leaves one man dead. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
February is
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. Prime Minister John Briceño has set the date for the next general elections for Wednesday, March 12th. The elections are therefore being called a full 8 months ahead of the end of the People's United Party's 5-year term, given that the last elections were held on November 11, 2020. The announcement was made live at the Sir Edney Kane building in Belmopan in the presence of the party's full slate of standard bearers. It lasted a mere 4 minutes. The Prime Minister started out speaking about the turnaround in the economy since the last elections.
Every day since you gave us that massive vote of confidence, my colleagues and I have worked to deliver on Plan Belize and to maintain your trust. The results are clear across our cities, towns, and villages. Belizeans are working, earning higher wages. Productivity has soared, expanding the economy. Hundreds of millions in new private sector investments have spawned development, and public funds are being invested wisely in areas that matter most to you: healthcare, education, streets, drains, roads, housing, and citizen security. These unprecedented results were delivered without any new taxes. Plan Belize is making good on its pledge to national transformation. With this sterling report card in hand, and after careful reflection and prayer, I have decided that now is the appropriate time to seek from you a renewal of our electoral mandate. Earlier, I advised the Governor General to dissolve the National Assembly today and to appoint Wednesday, March 12th, 2025 as the date for general elections.
Campaign paraphernalia immediately went up in some divisions. Off date to vote also on cue this afternoon. The Elections and Boundaries Department notified that the Governor General has already issued the writs of election and informed that the cutoff date for persons to vote in the general elections was January 10th, 2025. With today's announcement, the Prime Minister is giving 29 days notice for the poll. This election is mired in controversy due to an application for an injunction that was filed last night. However, Jeremy Enriquez, who is one of 3 claimants being represented by Trinidadian Senior Counsel Anan Ramlogan, said they had issues with the online portal, and so they had to print the documentation over 400 pages long this morning. A judge was assigned to the case until this afternoon. It is left to be seen how the court will view this new redistricting lawsuit. That's because the Attorney General is asserting that the initial redistricting claim brought by the Belize Peace Movement ended in a consent order which the court found the Elections and Boundaries Commission complied with. Notably, in his response to Ramlogan, Senior Counsel Eamon Courtney, on behalf of the Attorney General, outlined what happened in the House of Representatives regarding the redistricting bill. He states that the bill was introduced in the National Assembly on May 30, 2024, and on June 10th, it was referred to the relevant committee for consideration. He adds that the bill was later deferred due to objections from the Belize Peace Movement, the BCCI, and members of the opposition. He admits, however, that members of the government side have also publicly shunned the report. He also fails to comment on the inaction in the meantime. It has not been clarified what must occur in this case, whether the bill should be voted on in Parliament and rejected for a new process to start, or for the report to go back to the Commission for amendment. Another possibility raised as a question by the BCCI was whether the bill could be amended as a result of recommendations from the House Committee. Nomination day will be Monday, February 24th, 2025. Intended claimant Jeremy Enriquez issued a press release this afternoon stating that when they were notified at 4:30 p.m. Monday that they would not receive advance notice from the Prime Minister on when he would call the elections, their attorney immediately filed the application for an injunction to restrain the PM from calling elections until the divisional boundaries are redrawn. He noted that they have been anxiously awaiting an emergency hearing from the Chief Justice and Registrar, but that despite their pending legal action, the PM proceeded to call elections and asked for the Parliament to be dissolved. Enriquez states, quote, "This action appears to be a calculated attempt to preempt judicial review, circumvent due process, and undermine the rule of law. Such a maneuver raises serious concerns regarding constitutional integrity and the fundamental right of all Belizeans to participate in free and fair elections," end quote. He then accused the government of stalling the redistricting for political advantage and states, quote, "The Prime Minister has behaved in a dishonorable, discreditable, and reprehensible manner. He has displayed the utmost arrogance and contempt for the courts, the Constitution, and the people of Belize. It is time for Lady Justice to remove her blindfold and demand that the government uphold the Constitution, the supreme law of the land," end quote. The application for an injunction asked the court for an order of mandamus directing the Prime Minister to revoke his advice to the Governor General to dissolve Parliament and appoint a date for the general election. It also requests an injunction against the Governor General from making a proclamation and issuing a writ for the holding of a general election. We spoke with Enriquez in front of the High Court this afternoon.
What should be happening now is that what I'm grateful for is that people are more aware. A lot of people were not aware that they were taken advantage of over and over and over. And so hopefully more organizations, more individuals, more people will register their opposition to this kind of fraudulent election and will not participate. That's a tall order, but we also hope for is that we will continue this through the court process even after election, and we'll see how it goes from there.
But you know, it's difficult to get election results overturned.
Matters not. Still, we'll have to call the government to task for calling this election under all these violations of the Constitution.
To your knowledge, would this be the first time that the Governor General would be sued?
Well, I'm not sure what that precedence is, but she was informed by us about, please let us know when is the election so that we could have some kind of court intervention, and please respect that because we want to also honor the will of the people. And she has gone ahead and ironically used the same law firm as the law firm of the Prime Minister and the Attorney General, and so that makes me realize how deeply entrenched our system is. So I could say, as a people of Belize, we're screwed by our own politicians who people think we could trust, but they are really very committed to maintaining the status quo as we have seen so far.
In related news, the United Democratic Party on Monday issued a statement reiterating its support of the call for a redistricting exercise to be held before the next general elections. The release states, quote, "The United Democratic Party warned the nation that this exercise was doomed from the start when the government politicized the task force by appointing a petty partisan hack to lead the process," end quote. The party says it was clear that the PUP did not intend to honor its undertaking to the court to have a redistricting exercise before the next general elections based on many red flags. Additionally, it reminds that the task force ignored, quote, internationally accepted standards and even common sense practices in order to gerrymander with a primary focus of protecting and strengthening the prospects for success of Usher, Musa, Fonseca, Marin, and the other favorites of the PUP old guard, end quote. The UDP says it joins the Belize Peace Movement and the new intended claimants in their fight for redistricting. We note that Jeremy Enriquez has said he will not vote in a general elections he deems to be illegal. Now that the National Assembly of Belize has been dissolved, what occurs in terms of continued governance? According to Section 84.6 of the Belize Constitution, quote, during the period between the dissolution of the National Assembly and the appointment of a prime minister after a general election, the government of Belize shall continue to be administered by the prime minister and other ministers and ministers of state of the government, end quote. A shooting in Hope Creek, Stan Creek has resulted in the death of IT vet Dangriga carpenter instructor Simon Francis Arana Jr. The incident reportedly occurred on Monday night after 8 p.m. inside a residence in the community, which is located some 9 miles outside of Dangriga. Initial police investigations have revealed that Arana was socializing at the house when gunshots were heard. After the break, BDFA postseason games to continue following shooting tragedy. Stay with us. A meeting was held this morning at the Queen Street Police Station in Belize City to better plan the way forward in the Belize District Football Association, following the shooting tragedy at the Marion Jones Sporting Complex 2 weeks ago. At the meeting were representatives from the BDFA, LIU, and the Belize Police Department. Following the meeting, the National Youth Program Coordinator of the department, Douglas Hyde, said that the incident was unfortunate and now they need to find the best strategies to prevent a recurrence.
Unfortunately, the incident happened there at Marion Jones, and of course, that's like the last thing we wanted to happen. But it also gives us a time to go back to the drawing board and, of course, look at the best strategies and how to approach things. And the meeting today was to do such, to sit down together, discuss the best strategies and the best approach of how we can finish off these two games, these important games, but also how to collaborate. And that's the thing for us, collaboration of different groups and different organizations sitting around the table discussing what is best to do when it comes to these communities and clientele that we work with. I mean, for the past 3 to 4 years, the LIU, along with the police department, have been doing a lot of mediation. Some of these players, some of these communities are part of that process. So when there's an incident like that happens, it takes us backwards. It takes steps behind, which we need to work on in the dialogue and communication with the communities. So the meeting today is to do such, to remind ourselves that we are here together and not one single entity. So I applaud Ian and Jarrett for the work that they are doing there at the Belize District Football Association, and we need to continue to work together.
Ian Ganir, an executive member of the BDFA, says that the games must go on and that the stadium will be safer, and invited fans to come out and cheer on their favorite team.
In the meeting, we discussed mainly about security because we're in, like I said, I stress Belize City where, most of the crimes happen, so I think we got to step up our security force, and that was what we were discussing in the meeting, that we need more men on the ground, and we have a lot of top-notch securities, police officers that will be at both the semi-finals and the final game. So I want to assure the Belizean people, the people that attend football, the kids, everybody, that they will be safe. We will got more than enough security out there, and I would like to invite everyone to come out and see. I would even take a picture and post it on my Facebook page for the semi-finals game tomorrow to show that we have stepped up the security and we are getting a lot of help, to make sure that this tournament finishes smooth.
Recently, the Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children, Her Excellency Rosanna Briceño, advocated for more funds to be allocated to Stella Maris School. On Monday, Minister of Education, Honorable Francis Fonseca, was asked if he would consider her appeal.
Yeah, well, the Special Envoy has always been a good ally of the Ministry of Education, a strong advocate for families and children. And of course, she has a long history and background and training in special education. So we often talk about working together on how we can improve the services we offer to our community of special needs children. So yes, we're always looking for opportunities to improve, to be more effective, to be more efficient. If that means we need to allocate more resources, we certainly.
Senior Counsel Eamon Courtney is representing Attorney General Anthony Sylvester in a constitutional challenge about a redistricting exercise being held prior to the next general elections. On Monday, Honorable Francis Fonseca, a former AG, was asked why the current AG has hired an attorney for legal advice when that did not happen when he held the position.
Things have changed considerably since 2003, 20 years ago. We have a lot more litigation, a lot more work in the Attorney General's ministry. They are, I can tell you, overburdened with work from every single ministry. The government bureaucracy has grown tremendously over those 20 years. So, you know, it's natural that that has happened, that the AG's ministry simply does not have within the capacity to do everything. They do a lot of good work, excellent work. We have very good crown councils there who are doing very good work. But this is not anything new. As you all know, under the previous administration, I mean, Mr. Barrows, the Prime Minister's family, his ex-wife, his brother, they were the legal counsels for almost every major case that the government had. So it's not new. And in this case, we're dealing with some serious matters that have been brought forward, and the government wants to ensure that we get some senior counsels to represent the government of Belize, because, you know, ultimately we want to ensure that the rights of the state and the rights of the Belizean people are.
On Friday, teachers came out in the thousands from across the country to protest several issues they have with the government and school managements. On Monday, Minister of Education Honorable Francis Fonseca told the media that the teachers have a right to protest and that he was proud they exercised that right. He also said he stands with them and pledges to address their issues.
No, we have a great relationship with the teachers, the National Teachers Union. It says that democracy is alive, that our teachers, as I have said consistently, have every right to go out there. They have a mandate, and they have every right to advocate for their membership, for better terms and conditions of service for their membership. And we are committed to working with them on those issues. Always have been respectfully, and we continue to do that. So, you know, I was very happy and proud to see the teachers out there expressing sharing their voices, and I stand, you know, with them to say we will address these issues on their behalf.
After the break, AFD is pressing shine for mediation. Stay tuned. The Alliance for Democracy continues to press for mediation between the Honorable Tracy Panton and the Honorable Moses Shine Barrow. On February 10th, Panton's attorney, senior counsel Ellis Arno, wrote to Barrow's attorney, Christopher Malcolm, making several proposals while stating that his clients remain willing to mediate. The lead letter proposes that mediation should take place as soon as reasonably practicable, and a suggestion is made for it to start on February 13. There are also other suggestions about not giving any interviews on the matter until the issue is resolved. A hearing to address matters in the substantive case before the High Court is set for February 14, and if the parties agree to mediate, that would likely have been deferred. However, we have confirmed that Barrow does not intend to participate in mediation. Among the matters to be resolved by the court is an application for contempt of court against Panton. However, the case will not be decided until after the elections, as a trial date is set for March 31st, and the decision would be given thereafter as to who is the real UDP and whether Panton and others were lawfully expelled. In the meantime, Barrow has had his attorney write the Elections and Boundaries Commission seeking clarification about the use of the color red, which is the color for the UDP. A social media blog had reported earlier that the commission had decided to allow both factions to use red. However, we confirmed that no such decision has been made. Malcolm tells the commission that until the litigation is concluded, the commission is to ignore the parties' internal dispute and therefore treat his client Barrow as the leader of the UDP. The AFD had previously written the commission asking that neither side be allowed to claim the color red. Honorable Francis Fonseca on Monday reiterated that the average Belizean should not be affected by the new National Symbols Bill, which seeks to regulate the commercial use of the country's national symbols. Fonseca said that more clarification will be provided, but that the bill seeks to introduce regulations as to how the country's national symbols are to be depicted and would mostly affect importers. Fonseca also clarified that a one-time license would be needed, but that no additional fees would be collected.
The appendix to the law sets out the standards that are to guide you in the production of that. So that's all it is. It's like many other countries, they do it in Barbados, in Trinidad, in Singapore. All of these countries have a regulatory framework for their national symbols. And we have to protect our national symbols, and we have to make sure that they're being used in the right manner. So there'll be no, you can continue to fly your flag in your yard, you can continue to use your flag on, anywhere in a parade, whatever. That there's nothing to change that. You don't have to apply for a license. It is people who are importing these in quantities or manufacturing these products for use and for business purposes. And again, the bill provides for regulations to be set out. The minister will make regulations. So when those regulations come out, I think it will be much more clear to Belizeans. So we will do that shortly.
So people who make sure to the Belize flag on it and they sell it, does a portion of those profits go to how does that work?
No. There's no fee involved. So the government is not getting any fees from this or anything. But those businesses that do that, they will have to, and they have a 6 months grace period. So after 6 months, they will have to apply, or during that 6 month period, apply for a one-time license to say, listen, this is my business. I use this like cultural apparel, I think is one, I think that has already reached out to us. A one-time license to say, and then they will be fine to go.
This morning, a press conference was held at the UDP headquarters in Belize City to officially introduce Jose UC Espat as the Albert Standard Bearer for the Moses Shine Barrow-led faction of the United Democratic Party. During his speech, Espat cited many issues he said are plaguing the nation in the healthcare field, security services, crime prevention, inflation, among others. He said that despite entering the political arena, he will continue to be an activist, and his new political platform will allow him to continue to do so. He also said that unity is important and clarified that the UDP is not divided, but just a small group is causing friction.
I'm not leaving activism. I will never abandon activism. I will never abandon missing people. I will never, ever abandon this nation. Everything I have done independently of politics will be done within the realm of politics if given the chance to a level that will make a bigger difference, and that's what I'm looking for. I have fought for this nation from the outside, and I think I have reached the roof of what can be done outside of politics. The decision made is because I do believe that we need true leadership in this country, and I think that I can bring something to the table to mark that difference. The UDP is not divided, and I can tell you that from someone that's in the inside. It's one little group, and if you take a look, I told Mr. Barrow personally, my brother, once you bring back any people there, right? And I'm not going to say this because Ms. Tracy is my opponent. Ms. Tracy, I personally don't believe that Ms. Tracy has bad intentions, but she aligned with the wrong people. And I told Mr. Barrow, if he brings back any of those people, my resignation is of immediate as his decision. I will not align with people who are officially named corrupt when I'm fighting corruption. So the facade of a division within the UDP, it's not a division because the 28 candidates, the administration and the executives, and we are all working together. It's one little group of spoiled children causing the disruption.
Espat admitted that entering the race at this late stage is a disadvantage for him, but he says that his track record speaks for itself. When asked how he will be able to defeat two formidable opponents who have had more time to prepare, he said that he will listen to his constituents and work with them. He added that anything is possible through God.
I have a track record of integrity. I have a track record of work, true action, no nonsense. I am on the ground. I know I send nobody, go do my job. I know I make nobody go do what I could do. So what I do is I lead through example, and I lead this nation. I would lead the constituency based on more God's guidance first. And in everything I do, I give all praise and honor and glory to God. Anything is possible with the help of God, with dedication, hard work, honesty, integrity, and if we not touch the money and we not thief the money, it will always be enough for whatever project is placed out here. To the constituents, I know I come at a disadvantage, you may say, because of time constraint. Recently, I'm only 2 weeks out of a life-saving surgery, but still I'm here, and still I am a warrior. I want to know this. I not come to promise you anything false or fake, but I come to promise you hard work, dedication, and I will not dictate to you what will happen in the Albert. I will not neglect you as many have before. I will prove this by action, even if I'm not given the chance this time around. I will stick around and I will be there to help the constituency deal with the issues that come up in whatever area of that constituency they have. I have an idea more or less of what are the issues that are plaguing us all. But like I said, I will go and consult with the constituency to come to work together.
We have received a report that Cornelius Pat Cacho passed away over the weekend in Florida. He was recognized as an outstanding Belizean. He was an economist by profession, having graduated from the London School of Economics, but was also known for his philanthropic endeavors, having contributed significantly to his community and country. He was the father of Murdo Palacio. In May of 2022, when Cacho was 95 years old and was awarded an honorary doctorate degree from the Florida Gulf Coast University, Palacio told of his financial and in-kind contributions along with his late wife Laura Noguera Cacho to the educational institutions in their home community, but also to educational institutions in Belize. Palacio shared that he served in the post of Economic Secretary under George Price. He would later move to Trinidad in 1965 and then to the U.S., where he worked at the World Bank. Cacho was raised in Belize City on King Street. He had 5 children. And an official launch was held on Monday at the St. Herman's Blue Hole National Park in the Cayo District to introduce the country's first cave management policy. The policy was created based on collaboration among the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Tourism, the National Institute of Culture and History, NICH, the Protected Areas Conservation Trust, PACT, and the Friends for Conservation and Development, FCD. The policy is to serve as a guide regarding the management, safety, research, education, and recreational use of caves. Minister of Culture, Honorable Francis Fonseca, spoke more on the policy and its importance.
Well, the whole objective and purpose of the cave management policy is really to put in place really a foundation for the protection, preservation, management, sustainable use of our cave systems. We have wonderful, magnificent caves across our country. And so there's been a discussion ongoing for a very long time to make sure that we find the right balance. Obviously, as you know, tourism is very important to our economy. So we are happy to welcome visitors to Belize and to give them access to these beautiful archaeological sites. But we have a great responsibility and duty, especially at the National Institute of Culture and History and the Institute of Archaeology in particular, to make sure that we're putting in place policies that ensure the sustainable use of those resources. So the right balance, that's our duty and obligation, to make sure that we have these caves for future generations of Belizeans to come. So that's really the objective. And we put in place a few months ago the legal foundation to make this possible. As you know, we amended the Niche Act to give more powers to the director of the Institute of Archaeology to enable the Institute of Archaeology to collaborate with stakeholders like PACT and FCD and Audubon to make sure that we can work together to manage these assets and these resources.
With this policy, will more caves open up for people to explore?
That's a possibility. That's a part of the plan, but we want to do it, as I said, in a very responsible, sustainable way.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. A repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.
you.